Welcome back, everybody. We will be going over the doshas now. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so I've got this beautiful picture here of Old Faithful in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. And as you can see down here, we've got Earth. I think it demonstrates the doshas really beautifully. So we've got earth and water element, which again is Kapha. You see down here, the geyser, it's coming out of the mud, it's with the water, and it's all earth and water. And the qualities of that are dull and sticky and clay, mud, soft, smooth. That relates to our mental and physical being in the way if we feel stuck or lethargic, gloomy. You see the list here down at the bottom left. Unenthusiastic, stuffy, achy, lazy with the partner, negative thinking, depression. It also has qualities that would be reliable or stable. Community building. Kaphas are wonderful community builders. They're the big hug. They're the one always feeding everybody. Nurturance. There's a security, a structure when there's enough kapha. There's easygoing, nurturing, and supportive. There's no good or bad with the doshas. I don't want. I would like for you to take away from this that it's not black and white. It's having everything in balance. And we're all born into this life with our own unique birth constitution. And then life happens. We have situations from when we're in the womb throughout our whole life that are putting influences and layers on us and swaying things, or the way we're eating, or our lifestyles, or what have you, traumas. And it affects the doshas. It'll sway us in one direction more so. And that a lot of times it's our coping mechanisms from things that happened in our life, maybe as we were younger growing up. And it brings us out of balance. So what our job is to do is to figure out how to get ourselves back into balance, how to self-regulate. And we're talking about this through the lens of Ayurveda right now and with the doshas. Later in another video, we'll be getting into it through the nervous system, which yoga is one of the best ways to do that. Let's just focus on the Ayurveda right now. And when you look at the mud and you look at the kapha qualities, that earth and water, and then you go up to Pitta, the fire and water. What's getting that water to erupt out of it, out of the geyser, to make it explode out? There's an energy there. There's a fire in there that makes that water burst out into this, giant geyser. So fire and water for Pitta. And the qualities of Pitta dosha are oily, liquidy, hot, penetrating, sharp, light, unpleasant odor sometimes. The hot springs and the geysers a lot of times will have that sulfur, rotten egg kind of smell. If you meet somebody with a lot of Pitta dosha and they're out of balance, they may have bad breath, or their sweat really smells strong. A lot of ways of kind of looking at this. The mental and physical aspects of Pitta dosha are burning, inflamed, over planning. Think of the mind that's always going, overdoing, the body that's always moving. Anger can be Pitta dosha, definitely. Impatient, judgmental, black and white thinking, perfectionist, lacking of fun, and a sharp tongue. So think of it as all that fire quality. It's just burning down everything around it like a wildfire. Other aspects of Pitta dosha, reaching of goals, loves challenges, loves having a purpose. There's a purpose to what they're doing. There's a clarity. There's a brightness to the mind. There's knowledge. They're good leaders. They're focused and passionate. So again, When Pitta dosha is in balance, we have all of these wonderful things that manifest. Just like when Kapha dosha is in balance, we have all of those wonderful structure and stability and nurturing and that big hug that comes into play. And when either of them or any of them are out of balance, that's where the issues start. That's where it gets in the way of we get in the way of our own selves. And that's when we realize we need to get back into balance. So going on to Vata dosha, you see the water rising up into the air and it's blowing in the air and it evaporates into vapor. You get a beautiful rainbow out of that, which is perfect for Vata dosha, I think. So the qualities of Vata dosha are dry, light, cold, rough, hard, subtle, clear, and mobile. So you see it blowing in the wind. The wind's blowing it, drawing things out, evaporating it, turning it into ether. The mental and physical qualities of Vata in the system can be anxiety or overwhelm. There can be pain or shakiness, twitching, a desire to move, unreliable, just kind of spacey, always late, fantasy mind. Some of the other aspects of Vata dosha are creativity. They just basically pull things down from the ether. They're thinking outside of the box. They're curious. They're always inquisitive. They enjoy adventure, a lot of times travel. They're enthusiastic. Spirituality. They're tapped in. They're innovators and they're sensitive. A lot of HSPs or highly sensitive people have a lot of Vata in the system, or empathic people where you feel other people's feelings. Empaths, if you have people telling you, oh, you're just too sensitive your whole life, you probably have a lot of Vata dosha. Hopefully this makes sense. The rainbow goes along with the Vata dosha, that creativity, that spark that they have, that enthusiasm, and being tapped into the other side of the veil, I guess is what we would say. However, when we have too much Vata in the system, it can lead to sleep problems. It can lead to anxiety and overwhelm and all these other things. So when Pitta, Kapha, or Vata are out of balance, it can lead to problems. When they're in balance, it can lead to stepping into your life purpose, living your best life. Your relationships get better, your sleep gets better, your health gets better. Everything gets better when everything's in balance. And then moving on for identifying imbalances. So what I'd like for you to do during this course and as part of your homework for this course, if you would like to be able to figure out where the imbalances lie and how to help yourself, is you can look at that graphic I just showed with the geyser, and how is the body feeling? How is the body feeling right now? Is it achy? Is there pain in the body? Does it feel like you can't sit still, like you need to go move around, you need to go do chores, clean the yard, garden, fiddle with something, make something? Or are you feeling very lethargic, like you just don't want to move, like you're couch locked? And then how is the mind feeling? Is the mind feeling excited by all this information? Is it feeling like it can't quite grasp the information? Is it feeling annoyed by the information? And so looking at the body, how is the body feeling? How's the mind feeling? And then look at the doshas sheet that we just went over. So these are all of the qualities on one sheet. Kind of go through this. Like, how is my body feeling? Is it anything here resonate? No, not really. Oh, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit over here. And how is the mind feeling? Do the same thing. Maybe it feels over here. Maybe it feels over there. And then what you'll do is you'll do the practices that are going to help bring you back into balance. So if you feel as if, I put these on individual sheets as well, if you feel as if you are maybe I really don't like to use the negative and positive words to describe this, but if you feel it's, so I'll say out of balance and imbalance. So Kapha dosha, if you're feeling like you are out of balance in the mental or physical realm of Kapha dosha with earth and water, feeling stuck, unenthusiastic, you have negative thinking, there's depression, we want to cultivate the opposite to bring us into balance. So what do we need? What warms up the cold, wet, heavy qualities? Fire. So fire is sharp, hot. It's not cold, it's hot. It's not heavy, it's light. It warms it up. It transforms it, just like the geyser. Without that heat, the geyser's not blowing water into the air. We cultivate the opposite no matter what it is. Whichever dosha is out of balance, we cultivate the opposite. And when we do this throughout our day, it sets us up better for a whole day, first of all, and for our sleep at night. Because over time, we become more in balance. We can see when we're getting out of balance more quickly, and we can fix it more quickly. We know the practices to do. We know the lifestyle modifications to do to bring ourselves more into balance. And when the body and mind are in balance more often, the nervous system is in balance more often, and our sleep improves. Our anxiety goes down. Our anger issues improve. Everything improves. Our blood pressure stabilizes. Everything stabilizes. It comes into balance because any disease is from something being out of balance over time. So I put these 3 charts on separate pages as well, just because it was fun. There's my Vata. But you have the one with all of the doshas on one page. So the practice is to look at this multiple times a day, if you'd like. Where am I now? Where am I now? What's my mind feel like? What's my body feel like? Am I here? Am I here? Am I here? Let's see. Let's do a practice that's going to cultivate the opposite. And we'll be getting to the practices. We'll be talking about lifestyle things throughout this whole thing. And then you'll also have practices at the end that you can start cultivating to play with. It's all experiential. When you start experimenting with these practices and doing these practices, you'll see what it feels like in the body, and you'll know what being in balance feels like. You'll see the effects, you'll feel the effects of, oh, I felt like this. I felt my Vata too high. I did this breath work, and now I feel good. And we bring ourselves into balance consistently over time. The nervous system regulates. It can handle little ups and downs and come back into regulation faster instead of staying in a highly activated state. Our health gets better, our sleep gets better, life gets better. You can do this, okay? Let me know if you have any questions, and thank you for listening.